Oreo Express, where truth don't hide and we don't second guess. Unapologetic, we're bold and we're loud, shining light on the left shady crowd. Oreo Express, rolling down the track, exposing the lies, ain't no turning back. Conservative fire, we're speaking the truth. At Oreo Express, this one's for you. So grab your boots, let's take a stand for freedom, faith, and the heart of this land. Oreo Express, let's roll, let's go. So grab your boots, let's take a stand for freedom, faith, and the heart of this land. Oreo Express.
Celebrate our newest launch, Rev 7. I'm bringing you an amazing introductory offer, plus an exclusive overstock sale that you're not going to want to miss. Rev 7 is our premium energy drink that tastes great and gives you energy all day with no jitters and no crashes. That's because there's no sugar and no caffeine. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7 that for a limited time you can try our 3-pack absolutely free. Or check out our Percale bed sheets. I can't believe I'm even going to say this. Every color, every style, every size, only $29.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% on our Rev 7 12-packs or try our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. And our Percale bed sheets, all sizes, only $29.88, even the queens and kings. Inventory is extremely limited, so order now.
That's right, folks. Order now. Head over to mypillow.com. They got some excellent sales going on. We actually got a new commercial I got to update. I'll play it in the middle of the show. Thank you all for tuning in on Thanksgiving Eve. We do have the raffle going on this evening. So if you haven't got into the raffle, now's your chance. Venmo, Cash App, Give, Send, Go, or, I got to check Give, Send, Go one more time, or Zelle, as always, and we'll get into that here in a little while. I hope you all had a wonderful day. We got Thanksgiving tomorrow. We do have a tragic story that unfolded today, a preventable tragic story we're going to spend most of the show on, actually, which was 2 National Guardsmen shot in D.C. by one of Joe Biden's Afghan nationals. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the rhetoric that legacy media, the media that has divided this country. We're going to talk about that. And at the end of the show, right before we do the raffle, we're also going to talk about these damn protests at LAX and other airports. Something bad going to happen to these protesters. I'll tell you what, you know, I got a plane to catch and you're blocking my car. Well, I hope you can stop 4,000 pounds, right? We'll get into all that and more. I'm going to say some comments out here. And old Uncle Bill says, hey, everyone, Trina's in the house. Nola. Who else is in here? Darla Miller, Sugar Bear, KLM79. Let's see. Saint Fan says, happy Thanksgiving to all. You know who I haven't seen is K-Tex. Anybody seen him? I got to reach out to him, make sure he's all good. He might be watching now. Oh, speaking of that, he might be watching now on X. That X is up. I know he was an original Xer. Speaking of that, let me share this out on X. I need a producer over here. There we go. Let's see. Pixie's in the house. Hunter's in the house. Look at all these foreigners in our chat. Pixie, Hunter. We love you all. Jan Garner, how are you doing? B. Norton, what's up? B. Norton, I got to add you to this raffle. That's when I was thinking. I think you came across on Give, Sing, Go. And I'm making the family wait for dinner because I'm doing such a late live. Let me see who's over here on this other chat before we get into my day. Jay Lynn's in the house. Who else is over there? Darlene, how are you? Let's see, who else? I'm trying to get down the chat. Not a whole lot. Well, there's 31 of you on YouTube, but you guys are just quiet. A little bit quiet. So welcome in, everybody. I had a great day today. The military guys were from where you were, Berkeley County. Yes, West Virginia. We'll get into all that. Prayers to the families of these folks. It's just crazy, but I told you guys I wouldn't be doing regular live stream today. Me and Caden went to an arcade for about 2 hours. Spent 2 hours at an arcade. I'm telling you what, this kid is going to be an air hockey champion pretty soon. I let him beat me twice because you got to let him beat me. But he's doing good. Anyway, we had some fun. We played some arcades over at a local, it's called Blackbeard's. I actually used to work there when I was 15. And so we went in there, played some arcade games. He got to sit on my lap and race some Mario and do some other stuff. And then I took him somewhere else, took him to lunch, and tough. I let him choose lunch today. And he does love In-N-Out, but he says he wanted a Happy Meal. So I had to eat some Happy Meal. Or no, I didn't eat Happy Meal, but I did eat McDonald's. I'll tell you what, it does put a drag on you when you don't eat that crap for a long time and then you eat it. But we had a blast today, and on the way home, I had to stop and get something at Target, and he's like, "I just want to go home." He's out here now playing with some of his trucks and his tow truck out in the living room. We're almost all ready for Thanksgiving. I hope you guys are ready too. I started brining the bird this morning. Get it all the brine stuff ready and realized I didn't have no bay leaves. And then I went to the store. They were out except in this one section they had them, and I got lucky, but they were out of all kind of stuff, man. Kosher salt. I was looking for people looking for stuff. So hopefully you guys have a very blessed Thanksgiving tomorrow. We do have a lot to be thankful for. As much bad stuff as we focus on and we have to bring to light because legacy media refuses to do it, we do have a lot of things to be faithful for, or thankful for, and faithful for, right? I like that. Just came to mind. That was God right there. A lot of things to be faithful for as well. Be thankful for our Lord and Savior, right? But, we got a great Oreo family here, and I don't take it for granted by any stretch of the imagination. I go to bed. And check that out. Jay Lynn gifted some memberships over there on YouTube. Thank you, Jay Lynn. Gave out 5 news memberships. Usually it don't notify. Maybe they're fixing that. Thank you, Jay Lynn. That was very kind of you. And if you received a membership over there, whether you're a lurker or not, still thank her. And then old Uncle Bill and Saint Fan gifted a membership over there on Rumble. You guys rock. But no, I am grateful and thankful for all of you. And trust me. Some days I don't want to go as far as I go when it comes to working or put in that extra hour. And I know there's some people out there counting on me. They put their money behind me, and I will never let you down intentionally. So thank you all. And again, I didn't pull up the video, but I'm a little upset with JD Vance today. He was talking about Turkey, and I think he was speaking to some soldiers, and he said, raise your hand if you like turkey. And he goes, you're all lying. He goes, name another time of the year that you guys all roast an 18-pound bird and eat it. You only do it for Thanksgiving. And I have to disagree. I've told you guys, I go to diners. I love the open-faced turkey sandwich. I don't even know if it's a turkey. Like eating plain turkey, not my thing. But when you got stuffing, mashed potatoes, gravy, then we're talking a whole nother game, right? And so I'm excited about tomorrow. We got a lot of stuff. I don't know if I'll be live at all. I might do. I think last year we did a TikTok live, not a studio live, but where I carry my phone and we were just talking to folks online. So if you haven't checked that out, go follow us, Josh Fulfer, at Josh Fulfer on TikTok. And there's also a lot of great Black Friday deals in my showcase. I told you guys, if you guys buy off TikTok and you don't email me first so I can add it to my showcase, I'll be very upset with you. But let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. And they're continuing to gift, old Uncle Bill's continuing to gift subscriptions over there. So today in Washington, D.C., at first nobody knew who this suspect was, but he shot 2 National Guardsmen. This was an ambush style attack. We'll get into it. I'm kind of got a lot of different video clips we're going to talk about. I mean, I went pretty, for the time I had, I went very deep in this because when I found out when this guy came over, we called this not even a couple weeks ago when we said, watch, these people are going to go shoot the National Guardsmen. I said that live on the air. But a couple of years ago, I said we will regret letting these people in. And I didn't have time to go back to and find that anywhere in my podcast because, again, I only had an hour and a half to get ready for this. But let's get into it. So 2 National Guardsmen were ambushed. I'm going to show you a couple different videos. Take a look at this here. This is overhead shot. This is people trying to, I believe that might be the suspect right there that they are detaining. And you can see the feet of a National Guardsman. And there's also a National Guardsman to the left. You see Secret Service, police, and also other National Guardsmen coming to his aid. There's the other one right there. I think we got a photo of that. I am, we are all grateful for our men and women in law enforcement and in uniform that are putting their lives on the line. They're away from their families many times. We have people all over the world right now that are stationed in different areas that if they're lucky, they'll get a FaceTime call from their family tomorrow. And it's just disgusting what we are seeing here. Here is a photo here that starts off on this video.
National Guard who were on what's called
stuff right here. It is blurred out for certain things, so it's not gonna get us in trouble. But if you look at that, you have 2 National Guardsmen. I believe one was shot point blank in the head in this ambush style attack.
We should say I was here just moments after this all happened, and the federal law enforcement presence here on the scene was enormous, with U.S. Secret Service descending within moments alongside other members of the National Guard who were on what's called high visibility patrol when all of this happened. It was those National Guard members that were able to subdue the suspect here, and federal law enforcement sources telling me that that suspect had a handgun on him at that time. That is the weapon that he raised that you heard law enforcement talking about there. But within moments, other law enforcement members responding from the Metropolitan Police Department, and they were joined shortly thereafter by the U.S. Secret Service, the U.S. Marshal Service, and ATF, all of them coming onto the scene. Now, moving forward, because this is an attack on a federal, is being treated as an attack on federal law enforcement officials, even though the National Guard is something a little bit different. The FBI will lead this investigation along with the department.
Again, horrific. And Jalen asked if we are still taking entries in for the raffle. We are, guys. At the end of this show, live right here, we are going to pick a winner. Let me get into that before it gets too crazy into this National Guard event. We have this. You either get the MAGA one or the Trump hat light up. These are one of the items. You'll get all these items, but turn that off. Flashing MAGA or Trump hat. Also, NOLA donated this In and Out t-shirt from Oregon. I told you guys I got to get one from every state. Right now, it's Arizona, California, Colorado, Idaho, Las Vegas, Nevada, Oregon, Texas, and Utah. But that will be Tennessee soon and a couple other places. And this is the Beach Cruiser t-shirt in a double XL. For the ladies, if you win, if you guy and you win, you can ask me to keep these for another raffle. But we got these Trump earrings right there. That'd be beautiful for Christmas. And then my favorite piece is a lot of this stuff came from that is part of this raffle came from when we were in Butler, Pennsylvania at Trump's comeback rally, where he came back just months after almost being assassinated. And so there's some souvenirs from there. This one is the near miss ear gear. It says fight, 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 and Trump with his iconic pose. Also the FJB edition, if you want to put this on the back of your vehicle. FJB, we all know what that means. And then this one right here, probably the coolest one in my opinion. Matt, I think, is in here. He'll remember this. We were together at that event, and I purchased 2 of these. We raffled one off already. It's 1 in a million shot. Let's see. And on this side, you can't really see it. It has a bullseye, and it says 6:11 p.m. July 13th, 2024. And the other side says United States Secret Service counter sniper, and it has a Secret Service member on top of a sloped roof right there with his gun. So those items will all be shipped out to you guys on Friday, whoever wins. So if you guys want to get in, every $10 donation gets you 1 entry. So if you have, if you go $20, that's 2 entries, $30, that's 3 entries. And I will check everybody at the end and add you guys that that get in today into this. And you could do that at Venmo at Oreo Josh, Cash App, $ Oreo Army, givesendgo.com/Oreo 2024. And as always, we have Zelle if you use mobile or online banking. Our Zelle address is purepatriot559@yahoo.com. That's PURE patriot559@yahoo.com. Let me see if I can pull that up. So guys, get in. Let me see. Someone says Trump is addressing the nation. We're going to put that up right now. This live stream is probably going to be a little bit longer than I thought. Family's not going to eat for a while. So let's do White House. Okay, I'll try to back it up. Okay, here we go. Trump addressing the nation right now.
Mission.
Here we go, guys.
My great fellow Americans, earlier today, on the eve of the Thanksgiving holiday, 2 members of the National Guard serving in Washington, D.C., were shot at point-blank range in a monstrous ambush-style attack just steps away from the White House. They had been deputized as part of the most successful public safety and national security mission in the history of our nation's capital, the D.C. Safe and Beautiful Task Force, which has achieved an unprecedented reduction in violent crime and crimes of all type. This heinous assault was an act of evil, an act of hatred, and an act of terror. It was a crime against our entire nation. It was a crime against humanity. The hearts of all Americans tonight are with those 2 members of the West Virginia National Guard and their families. The love of our entire country is pouring out for them, and we are lifting them up in our prayers. As we are filled with anguish and grief for those who were shot, we're also filled with righteous anger and ferocious resolve. As President of the United States, I am determined to ensure that the animal who perpetrated this atrocity pays the steepest possible price. I can report tonight that based on the best available information, the Department of Homeland Security is confident that the suspect in custody is a foreigner who entered our country from Afghanistan, a hellhole on earth. He was flown in by the Biden administration in September 2021 on those infamous flights that everybody was talking about. Nobody knew who was coming in. Nobody knew anything about it. His status was extended under legislation signed by President Biden, a disastrous president, the worst in the history of our country. This attack underscores the single greatest national security threat facing our nation. The last administration let in 20 million unknown and unvetted foreigners from all over the world, from places that you don't want to even know about. No country can tolerate such a risk to our very survival. An example is Minnesota, where hundreds of thousands of Somalians are ripping off our country and ripping apart that once great state. Billions of dollars are lost, and gangs of Somalians come from a country that doesn't even have a government, no laws, no water, no military, no nothing. As their representatives in our country preach to us about our Constitution and how our country is no good. We're not going to put up with these kind of assaults on law and order by people who shouldn't even be in our country.
Amen.
We must now re-examine every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan under Biden, and we must take all necessary measures to ensure the removal of any alien from any country who does not belong here or add benefit to our country. If they can't love our country, we don't want them. America will never bend and never yield in the face of terror. And at the same time, we will not be deterred from the mission these service members were so nobly fulfilling. That is why tonight I can announce that I have directed the Department of War to mobilize an additional 500 troops to help protect our capital city. We will make America totally safe again, and we will bring the perpetrator of this barbaric attack to swift and certain justice if the bullets going in the opposite direction haven't already done that. During this time of the year, when we gather at home with loved ones, these two patriots were wearing the uniform of our country, patrolling the streets of our capital. They had taken a selfless oath to defend our nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And that is exactly what they were doing when they were gunned down in a savage attack. I want to express my extraordinary gratitude to every member of the United States military who is deployed tonight at home and abroad. I also want to thank the Secret Service and the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department for their work today. This Thanksgiving, I ask every family to say a prayer for the two great heroes who were so horribly shot, and for their loved ones. Please say a prayer. May God bless them and comfort them, and may God bless and protect the United States of America. Thank you and good night.
Can't believe on the eve of Thanksgiving, he has to make this address because we have allowed, and again, I've said it before, our immigration system is broken. The people that come here, quote, legally shouldn't be here. We need to fix this country before we start letting all these foreigners in that are destroying this country. And I'm glad he brought up the Somalis and that, again, have ripped off hundreds of millions of dollars to fund terror. It's not going to go good for them. As I move on, I want to show you some other news articles and what's going on. You have people celebrating this, saying that they got Kirk, meaning Charlie Kirk was assassinated, that these people, but we're going to get into some of the other stuff, just some videos in case you haven't been on the news today or if you've missed some stuff. Take a look. And Melissa, I got your entry in. Thank you, Melissa.
It just so happened that my nephew was here en route to the Bureau visiting for Thanksgiving. He texted me saying, I'm not far from you. We see people running. We see officers in the ready position, guns down, trying to move people away from the scene. And then the yellow tape started to go up. And now we know it's a breaking news situation. 2 members of the National Guard shot.
2 members of the National Guard. And it's just disgusting. Here was some other videos of what was going on. I want to try to show you these videos so you get some on the ground sights. Right there is Pennsylvania and 17th Street in DC. We've been there numerous times on our live streams, guys. Look at at this. Look at this action.
Hey, what we push it back to?
It's just it's heartbreaking, guys. The day before Thanksgiving. And also before Trump went live right now, when we played that for you, there was also his True Social that said the animal that shot 2 National Guardsmen, with both being critical wounded and now now in 2 separate hospitals, is also severely wounded, but regardless will pay a very steep price. God bless our great National Guard and all of our military and law enforcement. These are truly great people. I, as President of the United States, and everyone associated with the office of presidency, am with you. We're going to get into a lot of stuff. Here was some of the press conference early on. Take a look at this.
At approximately 2:15 this afternoon, members of the D.C. National Guard were on high visibility patrols in the area of 17 Northwest when a suspect came around the corner, raised his arm with a firearm, and discharged it at the National Guard members. The National Guard members, there were other members that were in the area. They were able to, after some back and forth, able to subdue the individual and bring them into custody. Within moments, members of law enforcement in the area were also able to assist and bring that individual into custody. At this time, as the director mentioned, the National Guard members are being treated at a local hospital. DC Fire and EMS responded to the scene to provide first aid for those individuals and transport them to a local hospital. The suspect in this case was also transported for treatment at a local hospital.
That was that one. We also had
Muriel
Bowser. The mayor, we'll put that up here right now, and then we'll get into Kash Patel does a little bit of Kash Patel's comments. Oh, let me refresh that one.
National Guard here in DC. What we know, Andrea, is that this is a targeted shooting. One individual who appeared to target these guardsmen, that individual has been taken into custody.
So that's what she had to say. It was a targeted attack, and then we have Kash Patel.
And their families and the sacrifice they have made. 2 of our brave members of the National Guard and the Department of War were brazenly attacked in a horrendous act of violence. They were shot. They're in critical condition. As you can see behind me, we have assembled the full force of both the federal and state and local law enforcement agencies to bring bear all of our resources to make sure we find the perpetrators responsible for this heinous act. And make no mistake, they will be brought to justice. Since this is an assault on a federal law enforcement officer, this will be treated at the federal level as an assault on a federal law enforcement officer. The FBI will lead out on that mission with our interagency partners, to include the Department of Homeland Security, Secret Service, ATF, DEA. And we're thankful for the mayor's assistance in this matter, the Metropolitan Police Department and their skills in investigating homicides and gun shootings in this city is exceptional. We will work together collaboratively because this is a matter of national security, because it's a matter of pride. President Trump has been informed. We've been in contact with the White House. We will shortchange the American public with no resources to make sure we find and safeguard our nation's capital right here in Washington, D.C., and bring anyone responsible for this heinous act of violence to justice. I would lastly like to add to the American public and the world, please send your prayers to those brave warriors who are in critical condition and their families. They are here serving our country. They are here protecting everyday Americans and citizens around the world in our nation's capital. They are the heroes of this day, and we must remember them on this day and every day, and their families and the sacrifice they have made. 2 of our brave members of the National Guard and the Department of War were brazenly attacked.
It's told you guys it would happen. Told you guys, especially after we had the Seditionist 6 come out and imply that these National Guardsmen, and you had the mayor of LA, Karen Bass, and Gavin Newsom really say that these National Guardsmen, we got some videos we're going to show you. This was a foreign national, but again, with all the rhetoric going on, this guy is a hero to many Democrats out there, the same ones that were applauding Charlie Kirk's assassination. Take a look at this right here. Says this is horrific. This is Senator Mark Kelly, that one of the seditionists that were calling on our own military to disobey orders from the commander-in-chief, trying to imply that somehow they were doing something wrong when they haven't. They couldn't name one thing that these National Guard or these people did illegally. But he says, this is horrific. I'm thinking of the families of these 2 National Guard members who lost their lives while serving the day before Thanksgiving. Thank you to first responders who brought a suspect into custody. Yeah, cry me a river, you traitor. How about the other traitor? I'm horrified by today's tragic shooting of 2 brave National Guardmen. Our service members are the very best of America. Violence like this is unacceptable. My heart is with them, their families, and the dedicated men and women of the National Guard. Please, I hope they get tried. I hope they get a military tribunal and they get handled. I really do. So this was some of the early scenes. We'll show you right here. The picture on the left is the suspect. And instantly, while I was looking at this, I was getting going through really quick while I had like 10 minutes and Caden was playing at the store. I went through here, and I think it was Laura Loomer that noticed the way his beard was, the beard without the mustache, and said, "Ooh, it's similar to some other style terrorism we've seen here." The suspect was identified as 29-year-old Afghan national Ramamanullah Lakanal. And that was that's been coming out. He entered the country in 2021 under Joe Biden. Take a look at this right here, and you'll see. That's him on the left right there. And instantly when people seen that, again, but we're just a tolerant country. Bring them all in. I'm done with that. It wasn't too long ago that you had Democrat leaders and activists claim that the National Guard was rounding up black people and putting them in detainment camps. Remember that? We played it. Let me just refresh your memory. And you'd ask yourself, why would anybody do this to the National Guard? Well, if you listen to the Democrats, they justify this.
We believe that the National Guard and the military occupation is the rounding black people up and putting them in detainment camps here in Washington, D.C. and around the United States of America. We believe that.
They believe that, guys. Well, I mean, if somebody was rounding up your family, that the way he's saying it is just because the color of skin, not because they're illegal, not because they broke into this country. No. You would seem like they wanted to justify violence against the National Guard, and that's exactly what they've done. One of their own, Jihad Squad member. Listen to some of the different news reporting that I came across. Take a listen. This was CNN that talks
Here
about.
it is. What do you know? Well, this individual appears to be from Washington State. It appears that he immigrated here into the United States in 2021 as part of the operation to bring Afghanis who had worked with or assisted the United States over into this country as Afghanistan was beginning to fall.
The Special Immigrant Visa Program, SIV program.
Right, exactly. This was the Allies Welcome Program.
Which we warned you about and told you it was cover for bringing in more people into the country under Joe Biden. You know, the close to 20 million that came in wasn't enough. He was flying them in, and we warned you. We said it. Specifically, we got some more video coming up of Mayorkas at the time.
He applied for asylum under that program and was granted that asylum in April of this year, although he's been here, it appears, since 2021. So that sets this in a place where the FBI is going to be looking at what was the vetting that was done prior to his arrival here, when he settled in Washington, what has been his activities here in the United States, what brought him to Washington, how long has he been there. But it's going to give them a better direction at this point as they try to get from who is this individual, which they believe they've established, to what is his motive. Now,
So that was some of the reporting, and we got some other reporting too. Before they knew who this person was, we also got confirmation that
right now they've assigned it to the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task. Well, right now they've assigned it to the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force in the Washington field office of the FBI. They are taking the lead and working in parallel with the D.C. Metro Police, who obviously have a homicide case. But because of the construct of the D.C. justice system, both of them operate in the federal courts, so they will be working together. The FBI is aware of the identity of the gunman. They know who he is, or at least who they believe he is.
So wait, can I stop you there, John? Because that's new, right? So the FBI is now telling you, your sources are telling you that the FBI now believe that they have identified this suspect.
Yes. They believe that they have his identity, and that starts a large number of wheels turning. He's not from the Washington, D.C. area. So as was discussed earlier in the show, they're looking at, okay, how did he get here? How long ago did he
So let's move forward now.
Travel? What was the purpose of the trip? Was this the
this was kind of, I wouldn't say encouraging, but this was a kind of a heartfelt sight. Members of the National Guard were spotted praying together outside of the D.C. hospital where their fellow soldier are fighting for their lives. And again, we all need to pray for a miracle here. God is good. This was something that has been making its rounds. I'm sure not something they expected to be doing on Thanksgiving Eve, but with all the rhetoric and everything. Here was another one. This was Fox.
This is learning that this person was here illegally, overstayed his visa, and that's who this shooter.
We've seen a difference in Washington, D.C. Crime is down
hold on,
significantly.
Chairman, hold on. We just got this. I need to get to it. This just in, sources are telling Fox News that the shooter is an illegal immigrant from Afghanistan who came in during Operation Allies, welcome under the Biden administration, and he overstayed that visa. All right, Chairman. So Fox News is learning that this person was here illegally, overstayed his visa, and that's who this shooter profile is.
Now, that has been contradicted with other reports that he was granted asylum in April of this year. And again, we have some things that we still need to fix, that Trump still needs to work on, some stuff that Joe Biden signed into law that allows them and grants them asylum. That's going to be changed now. They are looking at it as an act of terrorism. Who was this guy working with? What was his plans the entire time?
Your law enforcement sources tell NBC News that the FBI is now looking at the very distinct possibility this was an act of terrorism. The suspect, an Afghan national. This was a targeted attack, a horrific attack, with the aftermath caught on camera. Terror in the heart of Washington, D.C., just 2 blocks from the White House.
This is a targeted shooting. One individual who appeared to target these guardsmen.
Video captured the moments police and National Guard troops subdued a suspect while a few feet away performing scene who's down.
So it very well could be most likely an act of terror. Let's see. How many remember this? Again, what creates the conflict? The division from the Democrats, giving everybody the green light to go and attack our National Guardsmen, our law enforcement, our ICE agents. Listen to what one of the seditious six said just days ago.
Look at these videos coming out of places like Chicago. Makes me incredibly nervous that we're about to see people in law enforcement, people in uniform military get nervous, get stressed, shoot at American civilians.
She's saying these National Guard members are going to start shooting at American citizens.
It is a very, very stressful situation for these law enforcement and for the communities on the ground. So it was basically a warning to say, like, if you're asked to do something, particularly.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. Someone's just going to start shooting my family. I better defend myself. I better get them before they get me, right? That's what they want to put in people's head. Listen to a clip of MSNBC's Ken Delanian with him claiming today's shooting may be linked to Americans' opposition to uninformed personnel due to ICE. Listen to this. Justifying this, making excuses for it. You can't make this stuff up.
But of course, you know, there's so much controversy happening in the United States right now with ICE, who are also wearing uniforms and wearing masks. And so there's, you don't know, people walking around with uniforms in an American city. There are some Americans that might object to that. And so apparently this shooting has happened.
Well, that justifies it. Because they're law enforcement. There's law enforcement in the cities, guys.
But of course, you know, there's
ICE
so much controversy happening in the United States right now with ICE, who are also wearing uniforms. We couldn't
get through this whole show without someone blaming Trump, like Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton, man, the biggest grifter in my lifetime, the biggest race baiter, the race pimp hustler himself. Take a listen. Take a look. This is airing on national news. Like, let's not tone down the rhetoric at all. Whoever gives him a platform is partially responsible. And of course, it's MS Now, which is MSNBC.
Of two people fighting for their lives, guardsmen, that this president put there. And as I said, I was one that was very vocal against that. But I'm not going to belittle the fact that they're get into a back and forth with the president. I can say that if I'm a member of their families, I don't want to hear what he's saying about Honduras right now. I want to pray that these two guardsmen who were ordered there and who we're being told by the mayor was ambushed, make it through. And all of this about sending in 500 people, what does that have to do with where we are now? I think that we've got to, those of us that have been opposed to the president's policy, show that we're not going to morally match him by going down to a level of insensitivity. There are two people fighting for their lives on Thanksgiving Eve. And it just seems ironic to me that people that pardoned people assaulting police officers are now talking about how they're going to uphold and look up to the people in the building.
So much rhetoric, man. Tax cheat, American cheat, everything. ABC also justified the shooting because of Trump's immigration policies. Don't listen to me, listen to them.
Or a focus will turn to whether these guardsmen were specifically targeted. If that's the case, it would fit with what we've been hearing for a number of months now that some political flashpoints in the country, whether that's immigration policies by the administration, the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict, even amid a tenuous ceasefire, those kinds of flashpoints have made people in uniform, be they military, law enforcement, government officials, people in uniform have increasingly been targets. And that is going to be one focus of the investigation going forward.
Well, now the investigation is going to go into terrorism, you dipshit. It's going to go on. Why do we allow to have our Western culture, our Western civilization destroyed? I'm serious. You know, people call me crazy. People say, oh, you know, you want a dictatorship. You know, maybe I do. Maybe I want, if you want to fly, I want to make a new law. If you fly a foreign flag, we ship you there. How you like, oh, you don't trust freedom of speech? No, I'm tired of terrorists and all these people doing this to our country, destroying what we have built. Why do they all want to come to the United States? Because the West is the best. That is why. It's just disgusting, guys. It's just disgusting. This was another one on CNN speculating that National Guard troops who were shot in D.C.
The chief,
whether they have, and it was actually National Guard that ran up to start doing CPR and saving and also detaining the suspect. But take a listen to this, talking about the training. It's just ridiculous.
Andy McCabe brought up something that at one point in time, seeing National Guard troops on the streets of D.C. would have been a little bit more unusual. It's become a little bit more of the norm over the past few months as troops from multiple states have been in D.C. as part of President Trump's anti-crime crackdown. But one of the dynamics that Andy McCabe was talking about was sort of, you know, usually on the streets, you see police officers, you might see federal agents that typically are more used to interfacing with the public or dealing with situations, unfortunately, like this. We still don't know the circumstances here, but can you just tell us a little bit about how police are typically trained if there is a confrontation on the streets, if they run into a situation where someone may come up with a weapon, and where to go from there?
Well, I mean, obviously you have the de-escalation training, you have use of force standards that are in place. You have all these things that are part of the training.
Questioning the training of our National Guardsmen, like somehow that would do anything. And then you had this, people out there trying to blame Trump. Because Trump wants law enforcement and our cities and streets to be clean. Tired of places like Chicago where tonight 5 or 6 people will get shot. Some of them shopping, some of them grabbing dinner, some on the way home from work. And Democrats said, that's okay. Crime is normal. We got to have some crime. Trump's saying, not like it is now. You had this person put in there, and actually Rapid Response 47 and Stephen Chung both retweeted this, talking about how the left wants to politicize the tragedy. Jane Meyer posted this up, and it says, this is so tragic, so unnecessary. These poor guardsmen should have never been deployed. I live in D.C. and watched as they had virtually nothing to do but pick up trash. It was for a political show, and what a cost. So while they weren't, they did a lot of cleaning up. There's actually some video I'll probably show you. I don't know if we're doing a live stream Friday. We'll probably do a premiere because we got to get our premiere hours done. But they were cleaning up. They were trying to make DC not the embarrassment it's been for so long. But they were also carjackings down 48%, shootings down 30-something%. They were doing a difference. People in DC, not the libtards like this person, cared. And Stephen Chung retweeted this and said, Jane, respectfully shut the F up for trying to politicize this tragedy. They were protecting DC and trying to make their nation's capital safer. People like you engage in ghoulish behavior, lose all credibility, not like you had any to begin with. Then we had, and you guys still, we're going to get into, we got probably about 15 more minutes on this, and then we're going to get into About 8 minutes of the protests, people trying to block you from going to see your family on Thanksgiving. Yeah, I know. Before we do, we're going to be doing the raffle live on the air. If you guys want to get in, this is going to be in during this live stream. You have the flashing MAGA hat or the Trump hat, the light up hat right here. As you can see, it's not dark in here. We got a lot of lights on us right now. But this or a Trump hat like that. Nola donated this double XL In-N-Out burger shirt from Oregon. And then we have some souvenirs from the Butler, Pennsylvania rally when Trump returned. We have this right here. That's the near miss ear gear fight. This was when he returned back. It says, wear on your right ear to commemorate President Trump's miracle head move at the Butler, Pennsylvania rally at July 13th, 2024 at 6:11 p.m. And then this one is probably the best thing in here. It's a commemorative coin, one of those challenge coins. On one side, it says United States Secret Service counter sniper, and it has a sniper on a roof with binoculars and his gun right there. And then the other side is a bullseye, and it gives the date and time. It says 1 in a million shot, 6:11 p.m., July 13th, 2024. If you guys want to get in, you got about 20 minutes left to get in, and we're going to be drawing a winner randomly with the will and names. So you can go to donate. Every $10 donation gets you one entry. If you do $30, that's 3 entries. Venmo at Oreo Josh, Cash App, $ Oreo Army. We have Give Send Go down there at the bottom. It's givesendgo.com/Oreo 2024. And then we also have Zelle. If you guys do mobile or online banking, our Zelle link is pure, P-U-R-E, Patriot 559 at yahoo.com. That's pure Patriot 559 at yahoo.com. And when I went to the post office, Michael C. donated $20. He sent a check over to our post office, our P.O. box. I entered Michael C. in for 2. So thank you, Michael. I appreciate your support, and we appreciate everybody as we are 100% viewer funded. Just a few weeks ago, a CNN guest compared the National Guard to Nazis. This is the rhetoric.
Secretary of Defense is creating
what says, happy Thanksgiving to all. Thanks, Josh, for all you do. Thank you, Jan Garner. Thank you for being a longtime supporter of the Oreo Army, and you are also in. Thank you, and I hope you're healing well. Continue to pray, and also pray for Roberto and Haha. Last night, it was Haha's birthday, and they were on their way to go to dinner, and they were rear-ended. Did a lot of damage, totaled the vehicle. They're waiting to see what happens, but I called on the way home from church to see how their dinner went, and they were in the emergency room getting checked out. They seem to be okay now, but a lot of things can happen over the next couple days. Soreness, places that you didn't know hurt. So say a big prayer for Roberto and Haha, and let's hope they heal good and that they can get another car pretty quickly. It's a tragedy, but someone rear-ended them at a stoplight. So big prayers for them right now. Let's listen to this really quick. Nazis compared to National Guard.
Actually, what the president is doing through the Secretary of Defense is creating units, official military units, to, quite frankly, watch the American people. And that's the thing that is absolutely abhorrent. It reminds me so much of what happened in Germany in the 1930s.
What happened in Germany in the 1930s? Justified killing of Nazis. A war over it. How about this one? Another post here. If those National Guardmen weren't deployed in DC, they wouldn't have been shot. This administration is putting them in harm's way for political reasons. It's disgusting. It must end. This is like something Gavin Newsom would say, like, if you're You know, it's Roberto and Haha's fault that they were rear-ended last night. If they wouldn't have left home to drive to dinner, they would have never been rear-ended. How ridiculous is that? You go out on a Friday night, you're hit by a drunk driver. It's not the drunk driver's fault. If you wouldn't have been out on that street obeying all traffic laws, this is disgusting. And both men that were shot were from West Virginia. So the governor did come out. I'm not going to play his statement. But how about this one? This one's also going viral.
So fucking insane. I can't stop shaking.
I could really go for like a Dr. Pepper and some Takis.
So fucking insane. I can't stop shaking.
I could really go for like a Dr. Pepper and some
fucking insane.
So he's mocking the two DC National Guards getting kirked, possibly ushering in martial law. So that's going viral.
These niggas out here snitching. They with the rat pack. Hit them with the chopper, that's the rat trap. Find them in that trash bag off the interstate.
I'm pretty sure this guy right here is must be pretty popular right there. He's got to be a really big influencer. But those are the people that are saying these people got kirked. And this was earlier. You already heard it from Al Sharpton and President Trump. Take a listen to our
ensure that we
Secretary
make
of
Washington,
War,
D.C. safe and beautiful. The drop, in fact, this happened just steps away from the White House. It will not stand. And that's why President Trump has asked me, and I will ask the Secretary of the Army, to the National Guard, to add 500 additional troops, National Guardsmen, to Washington, D.C. This will only stiffen our resolve to ensure that we make Washington, D.C. safe and beautiful. The drop in crime has been historic. The increase in safety and security has been historic. But if criminals want to conduct things like this, violence against America's best, we will never back down. President Trump will never back down. That's why the American people elected him. America and our warriors, our National Guardsmen, are strong. In fact, this happened just
And
steps away
Nola,
from-
thank you. You know what? Again, I put out on a tweet, we need martial law in some of these cities. We need the Insurrection Act. I am done with it. I am done when we're trying to do something good for the communities and these radical activists, these leftists are blocking our police. They're literally cheering on murderers. They're literally, I got a story we're not going to play right now, but these illegals, they're flying to other countries to have margaritas with them. And guess what? The American people are not safe. This is not normal. And we can put people in prison to get rid of the crime, and that's what we need to do. Nola got in. It says, if I win, keep the shirt for a different raffle. And we got another one for 10 right now. We're going to be closing this out. It came under my hometown, so that's what I'll put it under, and I can message you back on Venmo. It says, God bless our troops. So my hometown is also entered in for one entry into the raffle. I'm fired up today, guys. This was, I stayed away from politics all day because me and Caden, and I did check a couple times, see what was going on, but when Caden got in the back seat, I looked in the rearview mirror and I'm like, what kind of country am I leaving for you? We need to fight harder, guys. We need to fight a lot harder. Listen to this. Williams comes on here after the two National Guardsmen are shot in a targeted attack. And listen to what he says.
The part about this right now is that the National Guard are out there. Well, they've got additional information that they haven't shared with the public, that it is a targeted shooting, sadly. But I think we need to stick away from this Democrat, Republican. We've got two National Guardsmen who have been shot in the District of Columbia. One of my deepest concerns right now is that the president has decided to send 500 additional National Guard members to the District of Columbia. And I'm asking, why in the hell are you doing that, President? I hope you rethink that, because the sad part about this right now is that
why would you not send more National Guard in there? People are being assassinated on 2 blocks from the White House.
National Guard are out there on the streets, and they're deeply concerned. They know that 2 of their fellow National Guardsmen have been shot, and they are going to be on a high state of alert. And the last thing we need in the District of Columbia or anywhere else is another Kent state.
Ted, are the National Guardsmen the good guys or the bad guys?
Yep.
They're the good guys.
And
I can't believe that if you're but Ted, hold on a sec. Hold on. Okay, why do you want less good guys? I'm shocked to hear you say that. Because
I'm shocked to hear
I got to tell you,
no,
when crime
Jason,
is
the
down,
National Guard is not trained. The National Guard members are not trained to do law enforcement work. And
they do actually do training before they go down there. We've actually got an order from the president that all states train them in police-style tactics right now to be ready to be deployed early 2026. Something's coming. The left isn't going to like it. But I will tell you what stops crime. Do you know just the presence of police help deter criminals? They literally pay officers. You can actually be contracted, like say Fresno PD. When they have enough officers, you can own a shopping center and pay for an officer just to park in the shopping center for 8-10 hours or whatever you want. Do you know when criminals go and they see that there's some type of form of law enforcement or somebody that can detain them, they go somewhere else? And that's what we've seen in DC. This guy's an absolute bozo. Now, we know that, again, we warned you guys when we were at the border, when we heard about Joe Biden's operation and to get refugees into this country. Take a listen to this. This was just 5 hours ago. This was posted by her.
I'm the top Democrat, the ranking member on the Immigration Subcommittee, and refugee resettlement has long been a bipartisan issue and a tool in our foreign assistance toolbox. And I know that you were resettled in the United States, but due to this current administration's very restrictive immigration policies, it would be almost impossible for you to resettle. Can you talk about your experience resettling and also why it's so important for us to keep that refugee resettlement program strong?
Thank you for the question. I think, as you can see, I'm one of the many examples, and I also want to acknowledge this. The resettlement program is one of the many solutions that we need. As I did mention, the ultimate goal for us is to return back to home when it is safe to do so.
It's safe. It's safe. She literally posted that 5 hours ago after the shooting. Now, let's go to the stuff we covered. We've been covering this for a long time. We talked about Trader Mayorkas. He should be in Gitmo. There's some things that I'm not going to say on the live stream that should happen to him. You can use your imagination, but just take a listen to this. We're going to go through some of this stuff that we covered back in the day. Old Uncle Bill and Karen gifted a subscription. Thank you, guys.
Operation Allies Welcome is the ongoing.
That Operation Allies Welcome was how this cold-blooded terrorist got into our country.
Effort to bring Americans home and to bring vulnerable Afghans to the United States and support their resettlement. The President of the United States has the authority to designate a federal agency to lead a federal response. Last Friday, he designated the Department of Homeland Security as the lead federal agency to coordinate Operation Allies Welcome to help ensure unity of effort, clear roles and responsibilities, synchronized priorities, and effective coordination across the federal government.
Remember when we called out and said these people weren't being properly vetted, and then you had Democrats saying they helped out our military? This was one of the pictures we shared back then that we said, oh, hell. Look at all those people right here. This is one of many after the failed Afghanistan withdrawal. Again, maybe it wasn't failed.
How are they being processed when they get here?
J.D. Vance on August 24th of 2021 tweeted this out. We're going to show it to you right now. Take a listen. This is about a 5-minute video. J.D. Vance tweeted this out in 2021.
So we know a lot of Afghan refugees are coming here. Many exactly, where are they going? How are they being processed when they get here? We have answers to some of those questions tonight. Here's what we've learned from government sources. Dulles Airport right outside Washington is a main welcoming site for flights landing at all hours of the day filled with Afghan refugees. As of this morning, just under 3,700 men from Afghanistan have been processed at Dulles. One recent flight landed there with nearly 200 evacuees. Homeland Security officials are currently discussing opening similar sites at other airports around the country. DHS has also been soliciting volunteers to staff its processing centers overseas. There are currently 3 of those that are vetting refugees in Bahrain, Qatar, and Germany. The administration is planning to open 4 other overseas processing sites. DHS's goal, it says, is to process 10,000 refugees every day at many of these overseas locations. So we reached out to DHS for comment on Friday. A spokesman there said that they are, quote, working around the clock to ensure individuals are screened against U.S. government databases prior to arriving in the U.S. and upon arrival. These are the people who had no idea the Taliban were going to take Kabul in a weekend. What will happen? Well, their attitudes, a lot of good people, but are very different from those of most Americans. A new poll by Pew found that 99% of Afghan Muslims support, for example, enacting Sharia law. So many Republicans in Congress have no problem with this at all. In fact, some of those want us to evacuate Afghans from Kabul before we get all Americans, citizens, out of the country. One of those Republicans, not surprisingly, is Ben Sasse of Nebraska.
I won't play the whole video for you, but I think you get it. We got some more stuff up here. And you got 1 minute to get into the raffle, and it is closed. If you guys want to get in, we are viewer funded. Every $10 that you donate gets you 1 entry. Looks like we've had a couple people enter in this show. How many remember this? We covered this live too. God bless Rep. Tom Tiffany. We got to meet Tom at the southern border. This was on July 26, 2023. I told you I did a deep dive into all this stuff today. Biden's DHS Secretary, Alejandro Mayorkas, said he was proud of Operation Allies Welcome.
Will you be reviewing them on a case-by-case basis?
We knew they weren't vetted.
How many Afghans, Mr. Secretary, have been admitted to the since the fall of Kabul 2 years ago?
Congressman, I would be pleased to provide you with that data. I don't have it.
There were 70,192 Afghans that were brought into the United States. They were brought here on parole for 2 years. Will you be reviewing each individual status on a case-by-case basis as this expiration happens?
Congressman, you're referring to what we termed Operation Allies Welcome, a program that we are very proud of, that we instituted to provide refuge for individuals, many of whom...
Will you be reviewing those they came in on parole, will you be reviewing them on a case-by-case basis?
We reviewed them on a case-by-case basis, and when those parole periods are subject to renewal, we will do so.
The commander down at Fort McCoy in my state, when I interviewed him 2 years ago, he said they were not interviewed on a case-by-case basis. In fact, in the terror hotbed of the world, Afghanistan, which should have a special immigrant visa process, previous administration used that to make sure to fully vet. Not one of those people that came in from Afghanistan were sent through the special immigrant visa process. They were simply given parole. Do you know how much damage was done to Fort McCoy during that period when those 12,000 plus Afghans came in?
Congressman, the individuals who were benefited from Operation Allies Welcome were indeed screened and vetted by government personnel.
They were brought in categorical parole, Mr. Chairman. There was $145.6 million of damage that was done to Fort McCoy.
We talked about the parole, something that Biden put out there. Anybody that came in was parole, so you were here legally. Even if you broke in tonight, you were getting processed tomorrow morning, released on parole, given your health care the next day. It is broken system. And people say, why are prices so high? You know what? Deport 8 million people in the next 6 months and watch everything. Your housing, your electricity, everything go down. Watch it. But Democrats are fighting harder for these people that are shooting our National Guardsmen. So yeah, we're going to get into one more thing, and then we are going to do the raffle again. Thank you for everybody who got into the raffle. I'm getting to it right now. But first I want to show you, last night, when I was laying in bed, I was looking at some highlights of what was going on, and I seen some frustrated travelers because there was a protest at LAX blocking people on the busiest travel season of the year. Take a look at this. We got a couple different videos.
We'll be back! We'll be back!
Look at that. People were abandoning their vehicles so they could make their plane flight. We don't need Democrats to shut down the government. We just need Democrats to block you from actually doing your travel. Yes, there is a gas pedal. Here was a Fox News report
food
right
service
here.
workers staged a protest and blocked a main roadway into the airport. They're demanding a travel day of the year. Looking pretty bad out there. Now, last night, the traffic at LAX got even worse as those food service workers staged a protest and blocked a main roadway into the airport. They're demanding a new contract and allege unsafe working conditions and unfair wages. This says nearly 82 million Americans are projected to travel over Thanksgiving, according to AAA. That's up from
That's the largest ever
last year and an all-time high. More than 73 million of those travelers will make the trek by car. Around 6 million will travel on planes, and then about 2.5 million will take some other form of transportation. AAA anticipates that some flyers could cancel their tickets and drive instead of fly due to flight cancellations and the lingering impacts of the government shutdown.
So once again, Democrats will find any way to ruin your holiday time. This was one that I seen that just got to me.
These are people's lives. You need to stop. These are people's lives. You need to stop.
This is people's lives. You need to stop. I'm going to tell you, getting to my travel destination is much more important than these people's lives. Get your hands off my vehicle.
I'm flying to Europe.
So sick of these white libtards, man. And then I believe this one was today.
You can obviously see it by
more mayhem at LAX. Look at this inside. Take a look.
Thank you. Sandra, you can obviously see it behind me. It appears that another protest has broken out here at LAX in Terminal 7. It appears that these workers are from USWW. Unclear what they want right now, but it seems like some sort of contract dispute. So just another hassle for travelers that are passing through LAX today. Back to you.
My goodness, happening right now. All right, Max.
Man, they're gonna be upset, man. I'm telling you. I don't want AI to replace people, but I kind of do when I see this shit. Like, what do you do that's so difficult for anybody else to do? All right, let me add some names here. Did I add Michael Seeve with his $20 check that I got? Yes, I put him up top. And let me see who we got in here today. Today, we got Melissa A. Thank you, Melissa. Getting ready to do the raffle right now. And then we had Nola for 2. And my hometown for 1. Thank you so much. Let's see. And it was B. Norton from the other day that I forgot to add for 2 on Give Sing Go. B. Norton. Let me make sure. Let me update this. Make sure nobody else got in on this one. No, that was 4 days ago. Let me get up over here. I'm gonna pull you guys off here for a second. It should keep the live going. Refresh this. Come down here. Jan got in. Let me add Jan. We got Gandalf in there already. He got 20 entries. Let me check Zell really quick. And then we got like 2 more to go, and we're going to be doing this. I'm going to go eat some dinner. Nobody got in on BMO, which is Zell. Uncle Bill got in for, I think, 15. Let me make sure I got that. Today is the 26th. So 5 days ago. Let me put OUB on here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 20. All right, OUB. And let me check Cash App again. Make sure nobody got in on Cash App today. We got Kevin M that I already put up here. Where's Kevin? Kevin M is in there, right there. Let me, and then, so let me go through this. Let's see. I got Zelle, I got GiftSingo, I got Cash App. Let me double check PayPal. Don't think we had any PayPal entries. No. So let's go through here really quick. We got Michael C, who sent that check for 2, Gandalf for 20, Saint Fan for 5, Fairness 2020 for 2. We got Jalen for 1, Janice in for 1, Jalen again. She did Rumble and I believe it was Venmo. Microtaz for 2. That was a birthday gift from JH Candy Bar. Kevin M for 3, Melissa A for 2. Nola for 2, My Hometown for 1, B. Norton for 2, Jan Garner for 1, and OUB for 20. That should be it, guys. All right, now let's see. I see 9. I'll go with Texas Bigfoot. I'm going to shuffle it 9 times. I'll put this up on the screen and see how we actually do here. Let's shuffle. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we got 9 times right there. We're going to put this on the screen. And good luck to everybody. Again, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for everything you guys do and help supporting us. Let's pick a winner. B. Norton. B. Norton with his Give, Send, Go entry. Congrats, B. Norton. If you would, please, B. Norton, send me an email and with your address, and I'll get this shipped out to you Friday. I'll box it all up this evening, ship it out to you on Friday. All you have to do is email me your information at oreoexpress@yahoo.com. oreoexpress@yahoo.com. I want to thank you all for being with us tonight. Thank you for hanging out with us. And again, stay tuned. Make sure you're following us on TikTok. But stay tuned. I don't know if we're doing a show Friday, so don't expect a show Friday. We got a lot going on. Obviously, it's Black Friday, so as a white guy, I'm just going to take a break. No, we got some stuff going on. We'll probably see you. It'll probably be for a Rumble Premium. If anything else goes breaking, I got dinner here in about 30 seconds, and then we'll be free. So I want to say thank you to everybody. We appreciate you. And B. Norton, B. Norton's in the chat. So you'll get that all shipped out to you, and congratulations. We will see you guys soon, and thank you so much.